Your job is fine. It pays the bills. You show up, do the work, come home, and do it all again. There's nothing technically wrong with your job, and yet you want more. You want more money, more impact, more fulfillment. And at the same time, you feel guilty for wanting more. Like you are somehow being ungrateful, or like you should just be happy with what you already have in your career. Like wanting more from your career somehow makes you greedy or selfish. But here's what I need you to understand. You are not ungrateful, and wanting more from your career doesn't make you greedy. And in this video, I want to share with you where this guilt might actually be coming from. I'm going to help you see why having a fine job actually makes the guilt you feel for your ambition so much worse. And hopefully this video gives you some sort of permission to want more in your career without apologizing for it. If you are new here, hi, and if you are a regular viewer, welcome back. I am Dr. Tega Edwin. I'm a career coach who helps professional women leave draining, miserable jobs that they don't like or enjoy and land higher paying, more fulfilling careers they can thrive in by helping them clarify their next career move and job search without burning out. Let's get into today's video. So first, let's talk about this guilt that you might feel, because if you are watching this video, then you probably know exactly what I am talking about. You might be in a situation where you have a job that looks fine on paper, right? It's not toxic, it's not abusive, it pays your bills, you can show up and do the work, and yet something is missing. You have this desire for maybe more impact, more influence, more money, and just work that actually excites you. And the moment you allow yourself to even think about wanting more or desiring more in your career, guilt starts creeping in. You start thinking to yourself, I should be grateful for what I have. At least I have a job. Some people don't even have jobs. What do I have to complain about? Right? You might ask yourself, who am I to want more? And I just want to stop right there and ask you a question, like serious question. I'm not joking. Question for you. How does your misery impact other people? Like literally, how does staying in a fine but unfulfilling job help the strangers you're thinking about who don't have jobs? Like, does your unhappiness in your career somehow create jobs for them? Does you settling for less somehow make their situation better? The answer is no. It doesn't. And I'm not saying this to be insensitive to people who are genuinely struggling to find work or even to diminish what you're thinking. I'm just saying that staying stuck in a job that doesn't fit you doesn't help them. It doesn't help anyone really. It doesn't help you, doesn't help them, doesn't help your family, doesn't help your community. So that guilt that you are feeling for wanting more because other people have it worse, I just think that that guilt is not serving anybody. But why does it exist? Like, where does it come from? Why do you keep hearing that voice when you think of more in your career? Well, if I go by the conversations that I've had with my clients, I think that this guilt might be coming from how you've been taught to think about contentment and ambition, especially as a woman of color, or a woman of faith. Because somewhere along the way, we started confusing contentment with settling. We started thinking that being content means you are supposed to be happy with whatever you have and never want more. And that if you do want more, that just means you are somehow ungrateful. That must mean that you're greedy and that you are not trusting God. But that is not what contentment means. Contentment is being at peace with where you are while still pursuing where God is calling you in your career. Contentment doesn't mean that you stay stuck in mediocrity in your career. It doesn't mean that you don't grow, or that you settle for less, or that you are not aware of what you're capable of. You can be grateful for what you have right now and still want to do more in your career. Gratitude and ambition are not mutually exclusive. So on the one hand, you can be like, thank you, God, for this job that has provided for me. And also say, Lord, I know that you have given me gifts and talents that I am not using here. I know that you've called me to more. Show me what more looks like. The second place that guilt for wanting more in your career can come from is, I think, from this underlying feeling that you have somehow not earned the right to want more in your career. Like maybe you got promoted really fast, or you advanced really quickly in your career, or maybe you're making the most money you've ever made before. And so now there's a part of your brain that is telling you that you haven't worked hard enough to get more, or that you haven't achieved enough to get more. And so even though there is this like yearning and desire in you to do more in your career, you feel guilty, like you're jumping the line or something like that. Meanwhile, that is just not true. I think that what you're doing here is that you're comparing your timeline with somebody else's timeline. And the thought is that you have to operate on the same timeline as other people. So if it took them 20 years to achieve something, then it should take you 20 years also, when that couldn't be legit further from the truth. We all move through life at different paces and different timelines. So wherever you have reached in your career at this point, or at whatever age that you're at, is not anybody else's business. And if you have reached whatever level it is that you're at, you have every right to desire and want even more. You are not capped because you have achieved. There is no set time or amount that you have to struggle for before you then get something that you desire in your career, whether it is more money, whether it's a title, whether it's a promotion, whether it's a fulfillment or more fulfillment, I should say. So stop comparing your timeline to other people's timelines. Now, before I share why having a fine on paper job can make this guilt even worse, if you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. Hitting the like button lets YouTube know that this video is worth sharing with more people who need to hear this message. And subscribing actually ensures that you never miss future videos from me when I drop them on this channel. And candidly, it does help the channel grow. So thank you. Okay, so now here's why having a fine job can make the guilt that you feel even worse. Because when your job is toxic, it feels like, oh, duh, there is an obvious reason why I have to leave. But when your job is fine, when it's not terrible, when there's nothing you can specifically point to and say, this is why I need to leave, you start gaslighting yourself. You start thinking, what do I even have to complain about? Some people are suffering in their jobs. Some people are in toxic environments. Some people can't stand their boss. Some people are underpaid and overworked. And here I am with a job that pays my bills, a job that I can tolerate, that is stable. What right do I even have to want more? And that is the trap. Because you start comparing your fine job with other people's terrible jobs, and you tell yourself that you should just be grateful. But your desire for more in your career likely isn't coming because you are ungrateful. It is coming from the fact that you know that you are not living up to your full potential. You know that you can use your talents, your skills, your gifts better, and that you are capable of more impact, more influence, and more contribution in your field. You know that you are settling where you are right now, and settling doesn't feel good even when the job is fine. Because fine is not the same as fulfilling. Fine is not the same as aligned. Fine is not the same thing as using your gifts in a way that makes you feel alive and like you are living on purpose. Like I remember that I once had a client who she was making the most money that she had ever made in her career. In fact, not even just the most money that she had ever made, but she told me it was the most money anybody in her family had ever made. And she got a job offer that was below the amount she had initially told me she wanted when we started working together. And so when we were working on negotiating that offer because it was lower, she told me that she felt guilty asking for more money because she was already making the most money she thought she ever would. Again, more than her parents, even more than his siblings. The idea of asking for more felt almost greedy, like somehow wrong, like she should just be happy that they gave her an offer. And she and I had to really work through that guilt and that mindset. Like we had to talk through those beliefs because they were keeping her from making the ask, for going after what she wanted. She was essentially about to gaslight herself into staying or taking, I should say, a lower paying offer. When she heard herself say these things out loud, she started to see how they just didn't make sense. And that's the thing, is like when we start to talk through these beliefs and these thoughts, we kind of start to see like, wait, these beliefs are false. They're limiting. They might not fully make sense. And so we start to then, it makes it easier for us to start addressing it, because wanting to be paid market value for the work you do is not greedy. So she and I did a lot of mindset work. I helped her see how making more money actually benefited not just her, but even her family and her community. And she ended up making the ask and increasing the job offer by $25,000. So what exactly is my point here? Well, just because your job is fine doesn't mean that you can't want more. And until you stop to evaluate where that guilt is coming from, you are more likely to continue gaslighting yourself into staying in that job that you don't enjoy. And if you already have this sort of ambition in you, like a desire to do more in your career, to have, I keep saying it because it's important, more impact, more influence, that tells me that you likely see yourself as a high achieving woman, meaning you like to show up in excellence. You like to accomplish things. You like to get things done and solve problems. And what I know for a fact is that if you are in fact a high achieving woman, the longer you stay in a job that is just fine, a job that is not allowing you to live up to your full potential, the more likely you are to start resenting yourself for it. So the longer you stay in that fine job, you will resent the job for maybe taking advantage of you, for undervaluing you and underpaying you, or even just boring you, to be honest. But eventually you will start to resent yourself for staying in that job longer than you know you should have stayed. So even though I am just a stranger on the internet that you are watching on YouTube, although I do hope that you've either been watching enough of my videos or will continue to watch more videos that stops making me feel like a stranger. But even then, let me just take a moment to give you permission if you have been looking for this permission. You are allowed to want more money in your career. You are allowed to want more impact. You are allowed to want more influence. You are allowed to want work that excites you and challenges you and makes you feel like you are using your gift. You are allowed to want leadership. You are allowed to want to be the example for other women who are watching you and wondering if they are allowed to want more in their careers too. Having more impact allows you to lead better. It allows you to create change. It allows you to mentor and support and open doors for people who are coming behind you. Having more money allows you to be generous. It allows you to fund kingdom work. It allows you to support the family that you're building or the family that you're planning to build or your parents who are aging. It allows you to take care of them and to buy support for them. It allows you to give to causes that matter to you. Doing fulfilling work where you feel valued and like you're doing meaningful work allows you to show up in excellence in the world. And the world and everybody around you benefits from the excellent version of you that walks around when you are doing fulfilling work. People benefit from your success and your joy and your thriving in your career. And here's what I also need you to understand. When you stay in a fine job that is not fulfilling, you're not just settling for less for yourself, you're modeling for other people that settling is where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. You're showing the women who are watching you that wanting more is wrong. The little girls who are watching you, that ambition is bad, that you should just be grateful for fine. And I don't think that's the message you want to send. At least I hope it's not. So please stop gaslighting yourself into settling for less in your career. I hopefully hope that this was helpful and that you will remember that the guilt you're feeling about wanting more is likely coming from societal messages, from comparing yourself to other people and telling yourself that you should just be grateful because at least you have a job. But let me share one last reminder that gratitude and ambition are not mutually exclusive. And if you are realizing that you have been feeling guilty for wanting more in your career and you're ready to stop settling for fine and actually pursue a career that fits you and pays you well, but you know that you need support and guidance to hit those goals, then let's chat. I would love to talk with you. You can always schedule a free career clarity call with me if you go to hercareerdoctor.com/call. On this call, we'll talk about your career goals, the barriers that are keeping you from reaching those goals. And I will share with you the 3 specific ways that I can help you hit your career goals and answer any questions that you might have about us working together. Again, that URL is hercareerdoctor.com/call. And that link is also going to be in the description of this episode below. When you go to that page, you'll see a form you can fill in to let me know what's going on in your career. And after completing the form, you will be able to schedule the free call with me, where again, I will share exactly how I can help you reach your career goals. And I am looking forward to talking with you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below so that you don't miss future videos from me that will continue helping you in your career. And once you hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons below, don't click away, because guess what? Watch this. There's another video popping up on the screen right here. Click that video. Watch that video so that I can continue supporting you in your career.